there is a kind of regret that arrives quietly. It does not kick down the door. It does not arrive with drama. It does not make a sound at first. It shows up when the room is silent, when the phone is finally dark, when the noise goes away, and you are left with yourself. That is the moment it comes. You sit there and realize that another hour disappeared. Another day is gone. Another week slipped away. Another month passed while you were waiting, scrolling, hesitating, overthinking, or convincing yourself that later would somehow be easier than now. And in that silence, a question starts to grow inside you. How much of my life have I already given away without noticing? I want to speak to that place in you. The place that already knows the truth. The place that knows time is not just time. Time is life. Time is your future forming in real time. Time is your body aging. Time is your confidence building or breaking. Time is your dream either moving forward or quietly dying. Time is the only thing you spend every day without ever getting it back. You can earn money again. You can rebuild a reputation. You can repair a mistake. You can recover from many things. But wasted time has a different kind of cost. It leaves behind a shape in your life that nothing else can fill. And maybe that is why this message matters so much. Because deep down, you do not really want more motivation. You want more honesty. You want someone to look you in the eyes, not with judgment, but with care, and say, "You are giving too much of your life to things that will not matter in the end." That is what I am saying to you now. Not to shame you, to wake you up. Because waking up is different from feeling bad. Feeling bad can be temporary. Waking up changes direction. You may be tired of hearing that you are wasting time, because, in some way, you already know. You know when your day is slipping. You know when your attention is scattered. You know when you are using small distractions to avoid bigger responsibilities. You know when you are pretending to be busy while doing very little that actually matters. You know when you are telling yourself stories that sound reasonable but keep you stuck in the same place. And because, this message is not here to accuse you. It is here to call you back. Back to your life. Back to your focus. Back to your responsibility. Back to the version of you that still believes there is something worth building. Think about a person sitting at a desk with a plan in front of them. They have a dream, maybe even a serious one. They want to study. They want to build a business. They want to get in shape. They want to learn a skill. They want to get out of debt. They want to become someone stronger than they were last year. And yet every 10 minutes, something pulls them away. A notification, a message, a random video, a sudden urge to check something, a tiny excuse, a mood shift, a wave of laziness, a thought that says, "I'll do it later." They do not notice the damage at the moment because the damage looks small. But small losses add up. 10 minutes becomes an hour becomes a night becomes a pattern becomes a lifestyle, and a lifestyle becomes identity. That is what wasting time really does. It does not always destroy your life in one loud moment. Often it erodes it silently. It makes you softer where you need to be sharp. It makes you slower where you need to be clear. It makes you less confident because you keep breaking promises to yourself. It makes you feel behind because you keep watching your days disappear without producing anything that matters to you. And if you have been living in that cycle, I want you to know something with absolute clarity. You are not broken, but you are distracted. And distraction is something you can change. The first truth you need to accept is this: your time has value because your life has value. That means every hour matters. Every morning matters. Every evening matters. Every small decision matters. The way you begin your day matters. The way you end your day matters. The way you respond to boredom matters. The way you use lonely moments matters. The way you handle temptation matters. You are not just moving through time. You are building yourself inside time. What you do repeatedly becomes the shape of your life. There is a man I once knew who always complained that life was passing him by. He said he wanted more. More money, more freedom, more respect, more peace, more success. But if you looked at his days, you could see the truth written plainly. He woke up late. He checked his phone immediately. He drifted through the first part of the day with no real intention. He jumped from one task to another. He spent his best energy on reaction, not creation. By afternoon, he was tired, and by night, he was convinced that tomorrow would somehow be different. But tomorrow kept arriving with the same habits, waiting at the door. One day, after months of frustration, he said something that changed him. "I thought I was waiting for life to change, but really I was wasting the exact thing that could have changed it." That sentence hit him hard because it was true. He was not missing a miracle. He was missing discipline. Maybe you need that truth too. Not as a punishment, as a mirror. Because so often we beg for a different life while keeping the same schedule, the same habits, the same distractions, the same excuses, and the same emotional habits that created the current life in the first place. That is why stopping the waste matters. You cannot keep living the same way and expect a different kind of peace. You cannot keep giving your time away to things that do not build you and expect your life to feel fuller. You cannot keep treating your days like they are endless and then act surprised when your future feels thin. Look at the way many people live now. They are constantly entertained but rarely fulfilled. They are always connected but not deeply present. They are always consuming something, but they are not creating enough to match what they consume. Their attention is split into fragments. Their mind is living in 10 places at once. Their heart is tired from trying to keep up with the noise. And then they wonder why they feel empty. The answer is often in the way time is being spent. A scattered life produces a scattered soul. A focused life produces a calmer one. A disciplined life creates room for meaning to breathe. That is why I want to ask you a question that may stay with you long after this speech ends. What exactly is stealing your time? Not what is using your time. What is stealing it? Because there is a difference. Some things use time to build your life. Other things quietly take your life away 1 minute at a time. Maybe it is your phone. Maybe it is fear. Maybe it is overthinking. Maybe it is people who drain you. Maybe it is the need to keep everyone happy. Maybe it is the habit of starting and never finishing. Maybe it is trying to do too many things without doing any of them well. Maybe it is comfort. Maybe it is self-doubt. Maybe it is the fantasy that one day you will suddenly become serious without changing anything today. Whatever it is, you have to name it, because what remains unnamed often remains in control. Time wasting often begins with something that feels harmless. Just a little break. Just one more video. Just 5 more minutes. Just today. Just this weekend. Just until I feel better. Those small phrases seem innocent, but they can become the language of a life going nowhere. Not because rest is bad. Rest is necessary. But rest is not the same as drift. Rest restores you. Drift dissolves you. Rest has a purpose. Drift has no direction. And if you are not careful, you can mistake one for the other until you wake up months later and realize your life has not moved in the way you hoped. I need you to hear this gently. The biggest problem is not that you waste time once. The biggest problem is when wasting time becomes normal. When you stop noticing. When you start calling it your personality. I'm just lazy. I'm just not a morning person. I work better under pressure. I always do this. I'll change later. Those statements may sound casual, but they can become a prison if you repeat them long enough. Because what you tell yourself repeatedly starts to shape what you believe is possible. And if you keep speaking like a person who cannot change, you will keep living like one. But you can change. You can absolutely change. Not by becoming a different species. Not by waiting for a magical burst of motivation. You change by deciding that your time deserves more respect than your habits have been giving it. You change by deciding that your future is more important than today's distractions. You change by deciding that it is time to stop living as if your life is endless. It is not endless. That is what makes it precious. Imagine a young woman sitting near a window early in the morning, watching the light move across the room. She has been telling herself for months that she wants to study, start, build, create, and finally take herself seriously. But each day gets eaten by scattered attention. She scrolls in bed. She checks messages before she has even stood up. She loses the first hour of the day before she has even made a choice. Then she spends the rest of the day trying to catch up with time that is already gone. One morning, she has a thought that stops her cold. I keep acting like my time will wait for me, but it never does. That thought changes her relationship with the day. She starts waking up earlier. She protects the first hour. She removes one app that was stealing her focus. She begins studying before she feels ready. Her life does not transform in one day, but her direction changes in one day. And direction changes destiny. That is how this works. Small choices repeated, not perfect. Repeated, not dramatic. Repeated, not flashy. Repeated. That is the path out of wasted time. You don't need a personality transplant. You need a new relationship with your own hours. You need to start seeing each day as a chance to either build or leak. Build something or leak it away. Strengthen something or drain it. Move with intention or drift with convenience. Let me say something practical to you now, because motivation without action is only a temporary feeling. If you want to stop wasting time, start by protecting your first hour. The beginning of the day is powerful because it sets the tone before the world has a chance to demand your attention. Do not hand your first hour to noise. Do not hand it to endless messages. Do not hand it to random entertainment. Use it to orient yourself.
Breathe, think, write, move, plan.
Pray if that is part of your life. Read if that helps your mind. Sit in silence if that helps your clarity. The point is not a perfect routine. The point is to start the day with direction instead of drift. Then look at your environment. A messy environment often trains a messy mind. A clean space does not solve every problem, but it removes unnecessary friction. When your room, desk, phone, and schedule are cluttered, your mind has to work harder just to stay focused. Remove what keeps dragging your attention away.
Put the phone where it is not always within reach.
Unsubscribe from the things that constantly pull your mind into irrelevant places. Make the work visible and the distractions less accessible. Your environment is always teaching you something. Make sure it is teaching discipline, not drift. Now, ask yourself another honest question. What would your life look like if you respected time the way you respect money? Most people are careful with money when they can see it leaving, but time leaves quietly. No one hands you a receipt for the hour you wasted. No one sends you a warning after the first 100 minutes of meaningless scrolling. No one taps your shoulder when you say later for the 50th time. And yet your future is paying the bill. So treat time as if it matters, because it does. Guard it. Spend it intentionally. Invest it where it can grow something. There are some things you should not give your time to because they cannot give anything back. One of the hardest truths about wasting time is that it often looks like harmless relief in the moment. You are tired, so you escape. You are anxious, so you avoid it. You are unsure, so you delay. You are overwhelmed, so you numb yourself. You are lonely, so you seek endless stimulation. You are afraid of failing, so you do nothing and call it patience. But every time you use escape instead of effort, you teach yourself that discomfort is a reason to retreat. And that habit becomes expensive later, because the life you want will require you to stay present in discomfort long enough to grow through it. I remember hearing a story about a student who kept failing not because they were incapable, but because they never gave one task their full attention. They studied with music blasting, notifications on, tabs open, and half their mind already somewhere else. They felt busy all the time, but learned very little. When the exams came, panic arrived. Then came the shame. Then came the promise to do better next time. But next time was built on the same broken habits. The change came when they made one simple decision: study in focus blocks with no distractions, even if it felt boring. That decision changed their results far more than their feelings ever had. And that is what focus does. It makes time productive. Without it, time just passes through your hands. Maybe your life needs that kind of focus more than it needs more ideas. Maybe you already know enough. Maybe you already have enough plans. Maybe you do not need another motivational quote. Maybe you need a stronger boundary with your own habits. Maybe you need to stop giving your best energy to things that do not deserve it. Maybe you need to stop starting the day with your phone and ending it with guilt. Maybe you need to stop saying you are too busy when the truth is you are too distracted. That kind of honesty can hurt, but it can also free you. There is also a deeper kind of time wasting that people do not always talk about. It is the time wasted on regret, on replaying old mistakes, on mental arguments that never happen in real life, on imagining worst-case scenarios, on comparing your journey to other people's highlight reels. That kind of time is invisible, but it is still wasted. You can spend hours in your mind without moving your life an inch. So ask yourself, how much of your time is actually spent in the present, and how much is spent in fear, fantasy, or replay? A lot of people are not living their lives. They are mentally circling them. Come back. Come back to the task. Come back to the moment. Come back to what you can actually do today. A meaningful life requires presence. You cannot build it entirely in your head. You have to sit down and do the work. You have to send the message, make the call, write the page, start the project, clean the space, learn the skill, walk the block, cook a better meal, save the money, say no to the habit. Stay in a room with the discomfort long enough for it to lose control over you. That is how the wasted hours become reclaimed hours. That is how the scattered life becomes a focused one. And let me say this carefully. Reclaiming time does not mean filling every moment with work. That is not the answer either. A life where you are productive but never present is another form of loss. What you want is intention. You want to know what your time is for. Some hours are for building. Some are for resting. Some are for thinking. Some are for learning. Some are for loving the people who matter. Some are for silence. Some are for recovery.
The point is not to become a machine.
The point is to stop living accidentally. The point is to make your life feel chosen rather than drifted into. If you are waiting for a sign to become more serious about your life, this is it. Not because you are behind in some dramatic, permanent way, but because you have enough insight now to know better. And when you know better, you owe it to yourself to do better. That does not mean perfection. It means intention. It means fewer excuses and more ownership. It means being the kind of person who can look back at the day and say, I used it well. That sentence builds a different kind of peace. Not the fake peace of avoidance, but the deep peace of alignment. Think about the older version of you who will one day look back on this season. What will they thank you for? Will they thank you for the hours you gave away? Or will they thank you for the moment you finally took your life seriously? Will they thank you for one more distraction? Or will they thank you for the day you decided to stop wasting time and start becoming the person you promised yourself you would become? That future version of you is watching in a sense. And every time you choose focus over drift, you send them strength. You may be wondering how to begin if your life feels full of chaos. Begin small. That is not weak. That is wise. Pick one part of your day and make it sacred. Maybe it is the first 30 minutes after waking up. Maybe it is 1 hour of focused work with no interruptions. Maybe it is a nightly shutdown routine where you review what happened and plan tomorrow. Maybe it is a no-phone rule during meals. Maybe it is a commitment to finish one meaningful task before entertaining yourself. Small structures can change a life because they create trust. Once you trust yourself more, it becomes easier to do bigger things. And as you start building that trust, notice how your inner voice changes. The voice that used to say, "You're always wasting time," begins to say, "You are learning to be intentional." The voice that used to say, "You never follow through," begins to say, "You are becoming someone who does." The voice that used to say, "You're too far behind," begins to say, "You are still in time." That shift in self-talk matters more than many people realize, because you do not just live your hours. You live the meaning you attach to them. I want to address the part of you that feels guilty right now. Maybe you are thinking about the days you lost, the chances you ignored, the opportunities you delayed. It is okay to feel that. Let it wake you, not break you. Regret can be useful when it turns into wisdom. It becomes destructive only when it turns into identity. Your past wasted time is not proof that you are incapable. It is proof that you are not yet fully awake. But now you are hearing this message. Now you are seeing more clearly. Now you are able to choose differently. That matters. There is something powerful about a person who decides they are no longer available for waste. Not waste in the obvious sense. Waste in all its forms. Wasteful scrolling. Wasteful conversations. Wasteful habits. Wasteful anger. Wasteful comparisons. Wasteful procrastination. Wasteful fear. Wasteful self-doubt. A person who becomes unavailable to waste becomes available to grow. And growth starts to feel different. It feels cleaner, quieter, more honest, less chaotic, more grounded, more real. It may not always feel exciting, but it will feel solid. I have seen lives change when people finally become serious about time. The student who stopped checking their phone every 5 minutes suddenly understood their material better. The worker who used the first hour of the day to plan and became more valuable at work. The parent who protected 10 minutes of quiet each morning and became more patient throughout the day. The creator who stopped comparing and started producing. The person healing from pain who stopped spending every spare minute in avoidance and finally began making progress. None of these changes looked magical from the outside, but inside, they were everything, because time is where life happens. And if life is happening through time, then the way you spend it is the way you live. That means wasting time is not a harmless habit. It is a way of living that slowly trains your heart to expect less from itself. It makes your dreams feel far away. It makes your confidence brittle. It makes your days blur together. So take it seriously, not with fear, but with respect. Respect your hours. Respect your attention.
Respect your capacity to change.
Respect the fact that you do not need to be perfect to be purposeful. You might need to hear this plainly. You are not too lazy to change. You are too overstimulated, too scattered, too attached to ease, too trained by distraction. That can be unlearned. Your habits are learned, which means they can be rebuilt. Your attention has been trained, which means it can be retrained. Your time has been handled carelessly, which means it can now be handled wisely. Nothing about that is impossible. It will just require you to be honest, patient, and consistent. And consistency is built when you stop asking for life to become easier and start asking yourself to become stronger. What would stronger look like today? Maybe stronger looks like putting the phone away for an hour. Maybe stronger looks like starting before you feel ready. Maybe stronger looks like finishing one thing instead of beginning 5. Maybe stronger looks like telling the truth to yourself about how much time you are really losing. Maybe stronger looks like choosing sleep instead of another pointless hour. Maybe stronger looks like saying no to a thing that is not helping you. Maybe stronger looks like admitting that your current routine is not enough. Whatever it is, do that. One real choice, then another, then another. And if you fail today, do not turn one failure into a final sentence. Reset quickly. People who reclaim their time are not people who never slip. They are people who stop the slide before it becomes a season. They return faster. They learn faster. They forgive themselves without excusing themselves. They keep moving. That is what you need to become. Not perfect. Returnable. Not flawless. Steady. Not dramatic. Reliable. There is a kind of freedom waiting on the other side of this. The freedom of knowing you are not drifting anymore. The freedom of waking up with a plan. The freedom of ending the day with real work done. The freedom of having a mind that is not constantly chasing noise. The freedom of doing less but doing it well. The freedom of feeling your life begins to align. That freedom is worth every difficult choice it takes to get there. So, let this be your turning point. Not a temporary emotional spike. A decision. A line in the sand. No more casually giving away your time to anything that does not build your life. No more acting like your future can wait forever. No more saying later when later has already taken too much. Take your time back. Start with the next hour. Then the next day. Then the next week. Protect the moments that matter. Guard them like something sacred, because they are. And remember this when the old habits call your name. Your time is not empty. It is your life happening in real time. Every minute matters. Every choice matters. Every delay matters. Every act of focus matters. Every act of discipline matters. You are not just trying to be more productive. You are trying to become more alive, more present, more purposeful.
More you. So breathe.
Look at your life honestly. Ask the hard questions. Remove the noise. Choose what matters.
And start.
Start before you feel fully ready. Start before the perfect mood arrives. Start before the world gives you permission. Start because your life is worth more than your excuses. Start because time is running, and you finally understand that every minute you reclaim is a piece of your future coming back home. Do not waste the rest of this day. Do not waste the next chance. Do not waste your energy on what cannot love you back. Use your time to build, to heal, to grow, to create, to learn, to strengthen, to become. Your future is waiting for the version of you who decides, right now, that enough time has been lost. Begin there, and keep going.